Under your system of worker cooperatives, would I still get my PlayStation 5?
Absolutely. You'd have to come to terms with that, the way you do with democratic decisions now in our society, to the extent that we have them.
I think we should be tossing less to just a democratic vote. That's why we have the Constitution in this country. When you think about it, it's like, okay, the role of the government is supposed to be so limited that you don't need to toss things to a vote. You don't vote on the First Amendment, on your right to speak freely. You don't vote on the Second Amendment, on your right to protect yourself, your God-given right to self-preservation. This is making the rounds again. It's not new, but for some reason everyone is reacting to this now and everyone is noticing this now. This is a clip of an actual Marxist professor, an actual communist. And of course, you have a lot of these people in universities. It's just one of those things people go, oh, it's not as extreme. Yes, it is. It's absolutely. I had several professors who were outright communists. So this is a communist professor, Richard Wolff, debating. I guess he was debating a streamer. What Destiny had him on, but someone asked him a question about how under socialism and under the new communist rule, if they could get a PlayStation 5.
Final question to you, Professor Wolff. Under your system of worker cooperatives, would I still get my PlayStation 5?
Absolutely. You'd have to struggle a little bit for it. You'd have to talk to your fellow workers. You'd have to talk about the distribution of income. You'd have to compare your desire for PlayStation against all the other interests of all the other people. It wouldn't be something you worked out on your own with your particular boss.
Sounds like a great life.
It would have to be a democratic decision. You'd have to come to terms with that, the way you do with democratic decisions now in our society, to the extent that we have them.
I'd like to democratically elect Combs.
Yeah, might help you.
Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. I don't know if you find, and you can comment below, I find myself believing less and less in democracy. Now, hear me out. I mean, the representative part of our constitutional republic is more important to me than just tossing things to a vote. People say democracy, and everyone thinks that's virtuous. Like, everyone has a say.
Yeah.
No, you can't. I think we should be tossing less to just a democratic vote. That's why we have the Constitution in this country. When you think about it, it's like, okay, the role of the government is supposed to be so limited that you don't need to toss things to a vote. You don't vote on the First Amendment, on your right to speak freely. You don't vote on the Second Amendment, on your right to protect yourself, your God-given right to self-preservation. We need to eliminate a little bit of the whole democracy as the go-to. It's like, well, hold on a second. Do we need to vote on that? Well, no. If it's not outlined as expressly forbidden, we don't. You do what you want to do. That's why we have their role. The government is solely to protect rights that they don't actually create or grant, but recognize. The problem with democracy is then you get people, voting PlayStation 5. You have to go, with the head of the SEIU in Germany, internet, democratically vote. Oh, that's now a constitutional human right. Free abortions. People are just going to, non-contributing zeros will vote for their own free shit while everyone else pays for it. Democracy is kind of a problem. You can comment below.
I like how this guy was like, well, you have to struggle a bit. And so you mean like work a little harder and maybe save up my money and don't spend it on other things?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Budget? No, okay.
You know what's funny that they don't understand is, like, if you actually look at Karl Marx's manifesto and you look at what happened, there's a reason that Stalin was exactly who he came to be. It was predicated on the idea of a very strong, robust working class who worked day in and day out. Now, they would get some vacations because back then they didn't have them. They would get maybe some weekends off. But if you were someone who wanted to stay home, smoke weed, and play PS5, you were sent to the gulags. The people who support communism now are not people who would have been welcomed in that community.
Why do we even entertain jerk-offs like this anymore?
Because he's a professor.
Huh?
Because he's a professor.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm taking it totally different. I've had it.
Yeah.
This is a fucking enemy.
Yes.
This ideology, and we sit here and joke about it, laugh about it, let them teach our kids. What the fuck? What are we doing here? Beat them silly. Beat them fucking silly.
Yeah, he's going to have to struggle to breathe, you know? I like this. All right. I've learned how to kick ass at Grand Theft Auto on PS4.
Yes. This is what we call curb struggle. All right. I don't know if you know
freedom
this
of speech, Nick. You got to let him talk. Well, not when he's here to destroy my country.
Well, the problem is they have a captive audience at university. That's the issue. And that
let's stop burning those down. I'm fucking had it. I can't even.
I understand.
We're at a point where.
Yeah. I feel really good about bringing Nick in for the first day back on YouTube. I'm glad.
Hey, you're the one that dumped it, dude. Don't even.
I think we dumped it. And by the way, just in case you didn't know this, let's just go through the 20th century when people talk about socialism, about communism. USSR, at least 8 million people. China, 33 million people. To me, really the worst is if you look at Pol Pot, Cambodia,
Pol Pot
2 million.
Because
that was the biggest percentage of the population. North Korea, 3.5 million people. If you can point me to anywhere that it works, because this guy isn't just saying let's go to a Nordic model that was built on a free market economy and then kind of have a hybridized system of robust social safety nets. He's actually talking about a workers' revolution and teaching your children. Show me one example where it's been even remotely close to successful. Also, I don't know if you know this, a lot of the people, ironically, who fancy themselves intellectuals, who supported communism, executed intellectuals. Pol Pot, if you were wearing glasses, you were sent to the killing fields.
Well, you know what? I'm with him on that.
Well,
I'm seriously. That would be all the elite assholes and the people in the media.
I was born with
And
astigmatism, Nick.
Huh?
Yeah, my wife has a lazy eye.
what's
Let's
that
not kill
Why
her.
don't you cry about it?
Well, I don't like her either. Listen, I never met her. I'm just.
Well, this brings us, but these people, right? Think about this system. It's you tell everybody, and you can, you know what? I do want to actually hear back from you.
Can I just say one thing, Stephen? Sorry.
Well, first off, my question is, what are your plans for the eclipse?
To stare into it for 2 hours.
Now go.
Oh,
I was gonna hold
my
Nick's
Asian
hand.
girlfriend. Listen, what was
Well,
I
she
gonna
doesn't need
say?
the glasses.
No, you're gonna fuck me up.
She's got built-in
2
visors.
hours sleep. I was up rubbing it out all night. What was I? Where was I? About the communists.
We're talking about communist professors, the
Yes.
workers' revolution, all the people who were
how
killed.
can you have a workers' revolution when all the fucking young people who are supposed to don't want to work?
Right. Exactly.
Isn't that sort of a big point?
No, that's a huge point. And that brings us to this. It's basically a Ponzi scheme, the student loan forgiveness. That brings us.
Oh, look at that. I knew what I was doing. I was part of the rundown.
Yes. They tell you have to go to school, right? Hey, this opens the door, right? This opens all of the doors. Education. That's what you can. I don't actually buy that anymore. I think you actually end up closing a lot of doors. What people don't take into account with going to university, very different if you're going into a STEM field. You want to be a doctor. You want to be a civil engineer, of course. There is an opportunity cost where you are losing at least 4 years of your life, where you could be gaining valuable work experience. Could be an internship, could be starting a business, and you are spending it learning gender studies, philosophy, whatever it is, creative arts, where you should be doing that actually outside of school. There is an opportunity cost that we don't take into account, and one party exclusively doesn't want you to take it into account because they want you to spend a bunch of money that you don't have to get a degree that no one actually cares about and will be entirely useless. And then they want me, Nick, Josh, Tuma, everyone here to pay for it.
Watch Louder with Crowder live Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.